Hello, everybody, and welcome to our channel. I'm Mark,
I'm Rob.
and today we're going to talk about what some Caitlin Clark fans have been telling me that she should have been four-time Player of the Year in college. So, hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so and hit the notification bell when you do. So, Caitlin Clark won the Player of the Year. There's lots of different Player of the Years. There's like 5 of them, but anyways, she won the major ones. She won all of them actually at both junior and senior year. But freshman year, Paige Beckers won them, and some people think Caitlin Clark was better than her. I mean, her numbers are bigger in general in terms of rebounds, points, and assists, but Paige Beckers actually has a higher shooting percentage, fewer turnovers, and more steals, same amount of blocks. So the numbers, we'll get to the numbers in a minute. I just went for the background purposes. But Paige was promoted as the number 1 recruit coming out of college, so she had the biggest name coming out. Caitlin Clark was number 4 recruit. Of course, then she played for UConn. UConn was good that year. So the whole hype thing was for Paige at the time. But Caitlin Clark got some hype herself, and I found out about her because I believe it was Carolyn Peck. I was I was on SportsCenter or something. She talked about women's basketball, and she said the most exciting freshman in the country is Caitlin Clark. I go, I like exciting players. So I started following Caitlin Clark. I watched some of her games. I probably saw half a dozen. And I only saw like 2 games that year of Paige's. So I got to go some by the stats too. But this is what I saw. I don't know how many games you saw that year, Rob. But that's what was going on. But when they had the
I'm sorry, Mark. I didn't get turned on to him until like maybe, unfortunately, to her senior year, or junior year. Sorry, until I finally recognized.
So you didn't watch any women's college basketball in 2000. I only watched a little. So all I know is that Caitlin Clark, by the Basketball Writers Association, she made first team All-American. For some strange reason, the AP, she only made second team All-American. It gets even stranger. She got co-freshman of the year by the Basketball Writers Association, along with Paige Becker. So that's a tie, obviously. And in the Wooden Award, the final 15, they called it their ballot. She wasn't even on the ballot for the final 15. She was on the finals 10 for the Naismith Award. Now, for the voting that particular year, it wasn't that close. Beckers was an overwhelming choice, receiving 21 votes from the 30-member panel. Clark received 1. Dana Evans had 4. Ryan Howard had 2. And Michigan's Naz Hillman and Texas' Charlie Collier, they all received 1 along with Caitlin Clark. So it wasn't that close. Dana Evans, I did a whole video on this, was not as good as Caitlin Clark when she was a senior that year. No. She played for Louisville. And Ryan Howard was very good, but they played against Caitlin Clark in the NCAA tournament, and Caitlin Clark completely outplayed her. But I think Caitlin Clark was at least the second best player that year, so it's mind-boggling that she wasn't on.
Actually, not 15. You said top 15, Mark.
She didn't make the top 15 for the Wooden Award.
So we could say, Mark, that word that we don't like to use.
Conspiracy. Oh yeah, there's something going on there, Rob. That makes absolutely no sense. Only 1 freshman was on it, and that was actually Paige Becker. But it was unbelievable. You should see the comments on here. The people saying that John Wooden was rolling over in his grave and everything like that. Everyone said this was a joke, and there was. And Rob, I didn't even follow women's college basketball. I remember the uproar that Caitlin Clark did not make the top 15. It was, this big promotion by UConn. UConn gets so much publicity and so much promotion that Paige Becker's got more than she deserved. I'll just give you the numbers.
Well, what's really ironic though is that John Wooden, is from Indiana. He was born. He's from Indiana.
And that's why he's rolling over his grave.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, he definitely was. It's like, wait a minute.
Caitlin Clark averaged 26.6 as opposed to 20 for Paige in points, 5.9 rebounds to 4.9, 7.1 assists to 5.8. But she had 4.8 turnovers to Paige's 2.5. Paige had more steals, 2.3 to 1.3. Caitlin Clark had slightly more blocks, 0.5 to 0.4. Now, the shooting percentage, back then, the 3-point line was at 20 feet 9 inches. So the shooting percentages were a little higher at 3-point shots because both of their shooting percentages went down the next year. But Caitlin Clark was at 472, but Paige shot 524 shooting percentage. At 3-point shot, Clark shot 4.06. Paige shot 464 3-point shots. 464 3-point shots. That's good. The free throw shoot percentage was almost the same. So Caitlin Clark did have more turnovers, but even if you subtract like 1 turnover 1 point for each turnover, because that's really what it was. It really is. There's 80 possessions in a game, usually, at least in the WNBA. I'll go by that. And they usually score 80 points. So each possession, you're getting about 1 point. So a turnover costs you possession. But
so essentially, Mark, she was matching her almost in all statistics. She's essentially matching her. And Paige was, what was she? She was the number one.
She was first. Paige did have more steals, 2.3 or 1.3. She had higher shooting percentage and a higher 3-point shooting percentage. And she also had fewer turnovers, only 2.5. But Clark scored 6.5 more points, 1 more rebound, and 1.3 more assists. But Paige, that was her best year assist-wise, actually. Like, Paige really hasn't gotten any better since her freshman year, you could argue. But anyway, even if I subtract, 2 turnovers from her points, and she still scored a lot more. So now you could argue there's 2 ways that Paige is more efficient because she plays with better players, or you could argue what you notice in the NBA a lot is, or even in the WNBA, when you play with a weaker team, you take more shots and your numbers are bigger because you're not sharing it with everybody else. But at the same time, that usually makes you less efficient because all the tension's on you. So you can argue that either way. And if one's playing with a mediocre team, which Iowa was, they were a 5th seed. They weren't even ranked most of the year, and UConn, which was ranked, top number 1 seed. So you could argue it either way. I'm just saying I only saw 6 games of Caitlin Clarkson, maybe 2 of Paige. Maybe I saw a little bit more than that of Caitlin Clark. I saw between 6 and 10 because I saw the NCAA tournament games.
So this award, this made this award very bogus.
It certainly should have been a lot closer in the vote.
I think so. Yeah.
I think it's, you could argue either way who should have won, but for Caitlin Clark to get 1 vote and Caitlin Clark not to make a Final 15 ballot is the most preposterous thing I've ever seen in sports that I can think of. And if you want to talk some kind of UConn conspiracy, I don't know. That's a West Coast award. So it's not like they're both in the, I don't know where that's coming from, but AP, same thing. The better teams, the teams that had really good records that year, they tended to vote for the better players. Iowa came out of nowhere. They hadn't been in the Final Four since '93. So I don't know. And if that had to do with the quality team that Caitlin Clark was on that year, but she got plenty of publicity because I heard about her. So it was someone was pushing Paige, and you can argue either way who should have been Player of the Year, but you can make the argument for Caitlin Clark. Let's put it that way.
Right. She definitely was in there with the stats and just to her ability and to bring up a mediocre team to that level. Well, that's the thing with me. People will say like with championships, or whatever. She picked Iowa, and that team was not even ranked. And if you can build up as a player by yourself, you're not like a Diana Taurasi saying I won it before, for a team. But that's what it's about. You build up your team.
But doing the 3-star recruits, Rob, that's what Caitlin Clark played with that year. She didn't get a 4-star recruit, I think, to Hannah Stokey.
So that's the point of being most MVP that matters to me. Do you bring your team up? You're the most valuable player, and not just you individually scoring 50 points a game, is where you average a decent amount of points, assists, and overall play, and your team rises up from nobody like, who's Iowa? Where'd they come from?
Right. So the next year, Rob, her sophomore year, her shooting percentage went down, but she became a better player overall. They moved the 3-point shot back. She started out the season cold, shooting like 24% for threes, but then finished hot. So she didn't shoot as well, but she did everything else better for the most part. Anyways, that year, Aaliyah Boston won, who was also, I think, Defensive Player of the Year. She got 23 votes, and Caitlin Clark got 6. And believe it or not, Rob, Baylor's Nalissa Smith got 1. Now, there's no way she was better than Caitlin Clark that year. Now, Boston averaged 16.8 points, 12 rebounds, and 2-point blocks that year. So she got it for her defense and rebounding and stuff like that. Now, I have a hard time comparing players when they don't play similar positions like Boston.
Right, I was just going to say that, yeah.
You could have argued Caitlin Clark should have won it her sophomore year too, but she didn't. She didn't win it. She won it her junior and senior year, and she was never unanimous either for AP. Like, again, there's other awards besides that one, but she won them all anyways.
It's so weird to see the shift, Mark. I've been watching women's college basketball for a while since, with Tennessee used to be Tennessee with Pat Summitt. It used to be Tennessee, then Connecticut and whatever. But now Connecticut's, even now, like anything, South Carolina's trying to slip in there and be the team, but now it's still Connecticut.
Just for sake of completeness, Caitlin Clark did make AP all the first team All-American on everything. Her scoring went up a little bit from 26.6 to 27. Her turnovers were exactly the same. Her assists went up from 7.1 to 8. Her steals went up from 1.3 to 1.5. Her blocks went up from 0.5 to 0.6. Her free throw shooting went up, but her 2-point and 3-point shooting went down. But overall, she was a better player if you watched her play, because I did watch her play. She had worked on her passing. She worked out with weights, and it gave her ability to make those length of the court passes. But somehow she lost to Leah Boston. I have nothing against Leah Boston. So you can make the argument for either player, but you can make an argument 2 years in a row for Caitlin Clark. In other words, maybe she should have won it 4 years in a row. I'm not saying she definitely should have won in her freshman and sophomore year. I'm saying Caitlin Clark fans tell me they should have, which would have made her the only 4-time player of the year. No one's won it 4 times. Cheryl Miller won it 3, and Brianna Stewart won it 3.
Mm-hmm.
So Cheryl Miller, I don't know what she came into the voting her freshman year. Ann Donovan won it. But Ann Donovan, I looked up her numbers. Ann Donovan's numbers were very good. She had in terms of rebounds, blocks, and assists. But by the end of the year, Cheryl Miller led her team to the national championship, and she might have been the best player at the end of the year. But she didn't win it her freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, that was it. No one's won it 4 times, but Caitlin Clark was in there. I think she was definitely underrated, especially her freshman year. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I already did, like I said, a video on why she should have made first team All-American. But I don't know, Rob, how it's hard to evaluate the numbers when one person's playing with a weaker team, one person's playing with a stacked team like UConn or something like that. How much you subtract and add for what team you're playing on. I think you just have to watch them play. That's why
it's kind of hard, but but still, I mean, you use the eye. I mean, you're using stats, but I mean, you also use the eye contest too, eye stats too, what you see.
Right. So you'd have to go back and watch them play. Same thing with the Leah. I didn't watch more than 1 or 2 UConn games the Leah Boston's year that she won Player of the Year. So I can't really have a strong opinion on that without at least having the eye test in addition to looking at the stats.
Mm.
But Iowa was better that year. So Caitlin Clark did get some publicity for that. I was a 2 seed as opposed to a 5 seed from the year before. But anyways. All right. Well, I just wanted to bring that up because, I saw some comments by some Caitlin Clark fans, and I thought, well, we're tired of talking about all this race and all this other drama that's with the WNBA. Let's talk about basketball. At least this is basketball. Stats, but at least it's basketball.
Right.
So, but again, there's more conspiracy here too. We can't get away from it.
You don't use the C word, Mark. We don't use the C word.
With that, I can't help it with the Wooden Award, Rob. Not in the top 15. That was ridiculous. I have no idea where that came from. It was almost like there was someone that was making the decision did not like Caitlin Clark. There's no question in my mind. And the AP voters.
Seems like a lot of people. Seems like a lot of people, not just one, Mark. Seems like a lot of people.
But maybe someone had the final say that just overruled everybody else. Who knows? I don't know. You don't know how the awards are done.
But you would think, I mean, even if it's like 2 or 3 writers or 4 writers, someone was like, hey, this is Caitlin Clark person. Why don't we put her on there?
It might not be writers. I think it's like organization. The organization didn't do it. For instance,
I mean, you would think that. I mean, no matter if it's on the West Coast.
It's the Los Angeles Athletic Club, Rob. So it's not necessarily writers. Who's ever makes up the Los Angeles Athletic Club, I don't know. Who's ever in that ballot decided not to put him on there. So It's unbelievable that they decided that. And again, who knows? Maybe one person is the president, just has a lot more power than everybody else, and was a big UConn fan and didn't want Caitlin Clark in there. I have no idea, but I just can't understand it. So I'm confused by that, and I'm confused by her not making first team All-American when she was probably at least the second best player in the country.
Right.
So the Caitlin Clark hate started early, Rob. It started.
It seems like it. Yeah, it seems like it.
It started, who knows? So, anyways, and Caitlin Clark's junior year, she won. She got 20 out of 28 votes, but I can't find who got the other 8 votes. It doesn't say. And then her senior year, she got 34 out of 35 with Cameron Brink getting the other one. That's the AP. The other awards, they don't announce the vote breakdown. All I know is who won and who lost. So that's all I know in the other awards for the Naismith and also for the Wooden Award and stuff like that. And there's a basketball association, U.S. Writers Basketball Association has an award. They don't announce the breakdown either. So that's all I can do is give you those stats and those particular awards. Let us know what you think. Do you think she deserved it her sophomore year or freshman year or both? Or was it fair? Is this all UConn favoritism going on here? And how does it carry over to the writers? How does UConn have control over the writers or the Los Angeles Athletic Club? Maybe that person went to UConn. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe they had a bunch of alumni out there. I don't know.
So, she could have been ripped off. People are saying, she's not the best player of all time. But what if she had won 4 Player of the Year awards? You would have made a stronger argument for it, right? I mean, I think she is anyways. She's certainly up there along with Shira Miller. And it doesn't matter to me that she won a championship. The way she dragged those two Iowa teams to the finals is amazing.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So, anyways, that's my take. I still think she's the best player of all time, even though she didn't win a championship and wasn't the Player of the Year 4 times. Nobody was, anyways. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, that's my take, and I'm sticking to it, Rob. Right. So, I'd like to hear your comments down below. And if you like this video, hit the like button, and please share it. And before you forget, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah to everyone. Mm-hmm. And we want to thank you a lot for all your support this whole year. We just started in April, so we're still a smallish channel, but for your help, we wouldn't be able to grow. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, what are you waiting for? That helps us grow. Hit that notification bell when you do, so you get notified of our next video. And join us for our live show. That's tonight at 6. Rob's busy, but I'll be there, and I'll do one on the 30th too. It's every Monday except for major holidays, 6 to 8 Eastern time. And if you want to donate to this channel, you can with super chats and super thanks down below. And there's a link to PayPal. And we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.